My name is Luthra. I'm 22 years old. I started my first business when I was 12 years old. I didn't plan as it a business, but I just went to it. I built about 30 companies before I had my first exit when I was 17, and I made a few million off that. While I always have and always will be ready to listen to wise counsel, I refuse to listen to people who have limiting beliefs and want to limit others. Before I begin sharing my experience about my journey from being a struggling innovator to an entrepreneur, I would just like to share that the technology available to us today is really changing, not only changing the world, but it's making a huge impact on the economics of the current world. For example, the largest IPO for 2017 was Snapchat for $24 billion. This company went to IPO in 6 years of operation. It took banks like American Express, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, over 150 years to reach that value. These numbers aren't just an evidence of my belief in creating technology for the betterment of the world, but it is also clear identification of how the world boils down to the success of technology companies. The banks, FMGC companies, and gas companies are competing very hard to be at the same level as tech companies. If you look at the last 10 years, the 5 biggest companies are all tech: Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Google. Google earned 3 times the revenue of American Express, which is a company that's 150 years old. Today, some of the biggest companies are literally living on your iPhone. Uber is a $50 billion company. Airbnb is a $30 billion company. It sells you rooms online, but doesn't own a single room. And it's worth more than Hilton and Starwood hotels combined. The tech industry is very, very new globally, but at the rate it's growing, it's unmatched. Over the past 7 years, I've built over 50 different tech companies. A lot of them have failed, but the ones that have worked have generated over $200 million in value in under 2 years. This was unseen or unheard of before the technological revolution. Generally, the audience I'm talking to is in the development stage of their companies. They've already started something and are wanting to build something more. But here I see it's a lot of young kids. So I want to keep it very simple and just discuss entrepreneurship at its initial stages. I listen to new ideas on a daily basis where budding innovators approach me for guidance and investment. And let me tell you, it is amazing and very satisfying to listen to these people and feel a part of their idea. The spark I see in their eyes when they're pitching me their companies makes me feel that I'm going to be a part of a phenomenon that could be playing a game-changing role in this world. Hence, I always listen to every idea like it could be the next Snapchat or the next Facebook. The starting point of anything really is an idea. And everything you see around yourself, your clothes, your watches, your phones, your cars, is an expression of someone's idea. And they got paid huge sums of money for it to build that idea. The advantages with humans are that we are creative by nature. Using imagination and coming up with ideas is our most important capability. But somehow, with our busy lives, it gets lost. Think about the time when we were all children. We used to be thinking about new things all the time, having fun, coming up with ideas, and always question everything. Why does this work like that? Fast forward a few years, and your brains become so occupied with surviving this tough world that imagination takes a backseat, and ideas stop flowing. I can say with a lot of confidence, at some point, all of us must have had a great idea, but we either ignored it or got too busy, let it die, and missed the opportunity to have created something that could have been beneficial to the whole world. Hence, I strongly believe ideas should be treasured, not suppressed. They should be looked at as magnificent jewels, not throwaway stones. When you land on a concept and think to yourself, wow, this is a great idea, let me build something with it. Don't let your thoughts be crowded and come, wow, what time do I have to be the next meeting or what I'm going to wear the next party. Put some effort into realizing the values of your idea. Scrap the dirt of them and think of them as you were mining for gold. It takes time to uncover a great idea and bring it to fruition. I remember that I simply started by collecting news and started a blog. My blog picked up. Eventually, it had hundreds of thousands of readers, and I got a lot of followers and turned it into a business. I had no idea that I didn't have any intention of making money from it. It was just something I was very passionate about. And I loved learning about technology, and that passion set me up onto the path where I am today. So following your passion will never disappoint you. You might just discover a new way and a new lifestyle from it. If someone else can develop a world-changing or a life-changing idea, why can't you? Many of us have been taught from a young age to be humble. If humility means you don't see yourself or your ideas having the potential to be of value to other people, then not only have you restricted the value to yourself, but you've also robbed other people of the potential value of your ideas. Between my career and my volunteer activities, I've traveled to every corner of the world, and I've met with people from diverse backgrounds, different age groups. Personally, I've spent my life being with people. One thing I've noticed consistently is that people doubt themselves a lot. They seem to think that the great idea always comes from somebody else. What made the other person so special that he had the great idea and not you? Often it was simply the desire to carry the idea through fruition. And why does one person create and bring an idea to a business while the former does not? In order to actualize our ideas, we have to believe in our ideas. It is of the utmost importance that whenever you feel that there's something you thought of, don't restrict yourself from thinking about it or discussing about it with other people. It could be the next big thing. Follow the idea and see where it takes you. Think and imagine what great things you would get access to if the money, the recognition, the feeling of success, if your idea actually came about to be something. Only about 1% of the people have the courage to take risk, the entrepreneurial risk. 99% of the people are always going to look for security in a job, which only means a life of paying bills and mediocrity. And the most important thing I discovered about courage is that in entrepreneurship, you have to take the steps first, and courage will follow. Take a stand and make a choice. Just decide what it's going to be and stick with it. Who you want to be, how you're going to do it, and what you're going to do. Without that, you may just want to find yourself becoming unsatisfied, unfulfilled, and becoming an old man and looking at some 20-year-old kid making millions of dollars, and it'll be extremely hard to find happiness in a 9-to-5 job. Look at your life right now. Whatever you have done until this point of time is working. Whatever you have put effort into, whatever you produce, the result of your choices and your consciousness. Now you have to ask, is that all you want? Would you like things to be better for yourself? What really stops people from being successful is they have so many barriers, so many obstacles to overcome that they never really get to success. Either they can't see it, or at some point they thought they saw it, but then they get busy pursuing the one shot. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you don't need it or don't want it, but just don't want it bad enough. Just think about how much time have you invested in yourself over the last month or the last 3 months in something that will make you better, like working out, learning something new, maybe reading a book. The desire to win has to be stronger than the desire to party, the desire to sleep, the desire to be secure. Don't be afraid of failure. Rather view the concept of failure in a new way. Redefine the meaning of the word. I do not like the saying, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? Now, if you're someone who will be satisfied with a small measure of success, it might be a good way to look at things. But if you want to be phenomenally successful, I challenge you to a new way of thinking. Do not fear failure. Learn from it. Because failure is not an option is naive. Failure is not optional is much closer to the truth. According to best-selling productivity consultant Dennis Waitley, failure is something we can avoid only by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. Believe it or not, I built over 30 different companies before I sold my first company. All of the other companies failed, but I learned something from them, that how you can build the next one better. Dare to try new things or old things in new creative ways. And some may say you're crazy. Have you ever noticed how many people laugh at new ideas until they see the person behind them making tons of money? I challenge you to listen to the voice inside you that tells you to move forward boldly. Some of your attempts may not bring the results you want. Not all roads lead to the destination, but you have to be willing to take a detour, build a bridge, or plow through a mountain. The entrepreneurial muscles you will build in this timeline will actually set you up for your future endeavors. My dad started a call center in India. He bought 200 computers, but the business went bust in the first 2 months. I was 12 years old, so I used to go to his office and play with his computers. I was very interested. I probably blew up a bunch of computers. I wasted about 50 computers through experimenting. I tried to build supercomputers, tried to harness the power of the chips. I got really interested. I am where I am today because one of my father's businesses didn't work out the way he had hoped and planned. I learned essential life lessons from him. But notice very carefully, I said one of his businesses failed, not him. Because he was not a failure. my father has proven time and time again to me that he's a winner because he taught me by example that our problems are our teachers. Winners always keep going. They don't let failure stop them. Most of us just live in a quiet desperation and go through life living in a comfort zone, never actually taking the initiative. Which brings me to my next point of focus, and that is to begin. I sincerely know that most of us have ideas and have dreamed of starting a new thing, making a lot of money, but we're not sure how to take the first step. And it seems such a huge of a task that even before starting, people just give up. It's the fear, the anxiety, and the stress, and the amount of work that's required for an idea to become a reality that puts most people down. But let me share a simple truth that should allow you to get over this fear and start something new and big that you would be proud of. Simply start taking baby steps. Fix a time of the day you want to work, and just 5 to 15 minutes a day for the first 3 weeks, and it'll become a habit. You know, when you guys write paper, you always procrastinate until the last minute. You must have an assignment, you're not going to try and do it until the last minute. That's how most of us are living these days. It's the same thing, but once you start writing that paper, your thoughts start kicking in, and your imagination starts flowing, and you just realize, just finish the paper before the deadline. It becomes autopilot, and it's the same. It's the same when it comes to entrepreneurship. An outsider will be amazed to see you doing so much and just wonder how you're doing it. People are always asking me, how am I running so many businesses at the same time? But they will never know, as they've never indulged themselves even trying something, and they've never actually made a start. All that you have to be not to be a part of the crowd is just begin. Entrepreneurship is mostly about stepping out of the comfort zone and not waiting for something special to happen to you. Be unshakable in your belief in yourself. If you ever have an idea or get one in the future, don't waste your time contemplating or doubting yourself. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Take action where others hesitate. Think big when others don't. Make sacrifices when others won't, and take criticism and negativity and use it to power your dream. I'm absolutely sure if you guys try, you will start finding success. Not immediately, but definitely and ultimately. Just get out of the comfort zone and follow your heart to the path of greatness. I hope to hear from you guys in the future. I'm always looking forward to listening to new ideas and assist in how I can. As an investor, I always have an upside from that too. I want to know how you guys are beating the odds. Thank you for your time and contribution that you'll make to the world. Thank you guys.